Hello, beautiful people of the world. So I had someone on my last video ask me what my journey was like as a trans person. So I am going to share that in this video. Basically, I had no idea until I was about 19. When I was a little kid, I've identified as like a tomboy. All my friends were boys. All my toys and activities and things that I do would be considered things that boys would do. And it wasn't really an issue. I remember being a pretty happy kid, and it got to an age where I started to notice that it was different. Like, I had always played on the boys' soccer team with all my friends, and then there was like a certain year that they said, no, you can't play on this team anymore, you have to go play on the other team. And then I was like, well, then I just won't play soccer anymore because all my friends are on this team. And I couldn't have sleepovers with my male friends anymore, but they would all have sleepovers with each other, and I didn't understand why I couldn't do that anymore. And then going into middle school, all of my guy friends started to stop hanging out with me because cooties, and people kind of went into their own groups. I remember starting to feel really depressed and out of place. I started having crushes on women, and I just knew I was a bit different. I thought I was gay, and I never really felt fully comfortable with who I was or what was going on. And it just kept getting worse throughout high school. I started to become very suicidal. I started to become very self-loathing. I just felt like a monster. I felt like my body was just so wrong and not okay, but I didn't know why. And I went through a really, really rough time. I was suicidal from probably like ages 14 to 20 until I figured it out. And there were some close calls. I just never really felt at home with who I was. And then I remember I was like 19 and I went to go visit a friend, and I just spontaneously decided to shave half of my head because I'd always had this very long hair. And so I had like long hair on one half and then buzzed on the other half. And I remember looking in the mirror and like seeing two different sides of myself, and I really liked how the more masculine side looked. So eventually I shaved my whole head, and I was getting really into Buddhism and just kind of trying to pray for self-love, pray for answers. And I stumbled across a YouTube video, I think his name was Skylar, and I saw like a trans man for the first time in my 20 years. I had never encountered that. I had never come across that. And it clicked for me immediately, like, oh my God, you can do that? Like, that's me. And it was this moment where I had so much clarity and happiness finally figuring out what was going on. But at the same time, it also started a really tough journey, because then I knew, like, okay, I'm a man, and now I have to live in what I was, and no one's gonna see me as that, and so that was really, really difficult. My friends, I mean, all of my relationships changed, every single one of them. Gender has enormous impact on literally everything that we do. It affects literally everything in terms of society and human culture, in so many subtle ways that you wouldn't think. Like, obviously gender is a human construct, but we live in a human world, and so it's still very important to navigate. And a lot of my friendships got stronger, they made more sense, some of them dropped off, some of them got confusing. My family was not very supportive in the beginning. Like, they continually reiterated that they loved me, but it was very difficult for them. My mom especially was mourning the loss of who I was for quite some time, and she took it pretty hard. My sister was definitely a really huge advocate for me, and my godmother, but it definitely took years and some family therapy to get to a place where my family understood that it wasn't a phase, and I'm just even more myself, and that I'm okay. And I worked at a dog daycare during a lot of my transitional period, which was so helpful to me because the dogs did not care about my aesthetic or anything like that, and they always just treated me the same no matter what part of my transition I was in. So I really had a love and appreciation for dogs so much, and I had a really good manager who would stand up for me if my coworkers were misgendering me or misnaming me or just being rude, because I still didn't quite pass. I hate that word, but I was kind of going through a lot, and it was important for me, for my coworkers and the people in my life, to at least support me when I knew I probably wasn't going to get supported by the general population. I got top surgery, which really, really helped me. I remember waking up and finally feeling like I fit and belonged in my own physical body, which is such a beautiful experience that most people don't have to struggle with or take for granted, but that was a huge life-changing moment for me. I got started on hormone therapy, and kind of the rest is history. I continued every day to be more and more comfortable with who I am and what it means to be a man, and a good man at that. I try really hard to be incredibly respectful and kind to everybody that I meet. I try to especially be very aware of my privilege as a white man, and to treat women exceptionally well, and to stand up and call out other men who are not doing that. I feel like that's the least I can do as a man, the least that any man can do, is treat women appropriately. I found that a lot of men don't. But regardless, I became very comfortable in who I was, and was able to date and have relationships and jobs and whatever. And now I'm in a situation where every time I get a new job, I am stealth, just meaning that everybody assumes that I'm a cisgender man, which is fine. Sometimes I feel like I'm hiding something, though generally I don't think it's anybody's business professionally, and I am always worried that the wrong person will find out, or the wrong client will find out, and it will be uncomfortable for me. So I typically wait until I can kind of see how liberal and accepting people are, and then I'll tell those people. And if I hear people talk about LGBT community in a negative way or a problematic way, I definitely don't let those people on to what's going on. Honestly, being trans saved my life. It literally saved my life, and it was so difficult for so long. But now I have a really deep appreciation for this unique experience. I feel like I've been able to live kind of two lives in one, and I've seen so many angles and perspectives, and I feel like I am so free of living in a box. And so many people, kind of just do whatever, and I feel like I've had to be very brave and fight and navigate through the world in a way that has given me so much freedom and self-love and ability to express myself, and just a very complete view on gender and sexuality. Of course, I'm still learning new things all the time, and it is a journey, but spiritually I feel very blessed to have this experience, no matter what it puts me through. Sometimes I definitely can say that I am happy with who I am, and yeah, I feel very complete at this point in time. So that is really the journey that it took to get me here. Lots of courage and perseverance, and just knowing that I had to do what was right for me, and listen to my own heart. So yeah, thank you guys for listening. I hope that you gained something from this, and I wish all of you the best.